Human by Gordon Dickson. It was published by Tor in 1981, and it's a collection of short stories that Dickson wrote between 1952 and 1976, I think. The theme of the short stories in this collection is really about love from an alien's perspective, one way or the other. Those are the themes of the book. Now, the problem that I have with this book, and it's not really a problem, it's the short story genre in science fiction, particularly in those magazines, like Analog, Asimov, they have this artificial construct of a certain set amount of time, and it's very difficult to write a complete whole story within that little chopped up, whatever the length is required by the publisher, 10,000, 15,000 words, whatever it is. So the story's a little bit truncated for me, but that didn't prevent me from enjoying them for what they were. I just recognize that, it is what it is when it comes to short stories. Well, the stories that you'll find in here are Black Charlie, which I kind of like that story. Moon, June, Spoon, and Croon. The Summer Visitors, Listen, Graveyard, Fido, The Breaking of Jerry McCloud, which reminds me of The Short and Happy Life of Francis McUmber. Makes me wonder if Dickson was a fan of Hemingway. Other stories, Love Me True, The Christmas Present, which was a good story about misunderstanding between aliens and humans, and the consequences of well-intended actions. I don't want to give away spoilers. Plus the story It Hardly Seems Fair, and of course what I think is the best in show is the final story in this collection, and it's called The Monster and the Maiden. And I liked what Dickson did, how he flipped that title when you apply it to characters in that book. And I think that if you're reading the stories and you decide, well, I agree with Dan, I don't really like this truncated nature of these stories that were published in these science fiction magazines, at least go to the final story, The Monster and the Maiden, and read that, because I imagine if you're a fan of science fiction and fantasy, like I am, then you like the idea of the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and all that, and that story is a play on the Loch Ness Monster story, so it's worth the read. So I do recommend it. I think it would be a great book if you had a commute where you were riding a bus or subway, or if you just had like 45 minutes at lunch at work, because you can get through one of these stories and have a complete story to kind of juice up your day and give you some energy before you go on to your next task. So I like Dickson a lot. I really like this Child Days series. I read a lot in high school, and I had been looking at this book for years, literally. But I saw it in the secondhand store, recognized the cover art, and said, hey, I've just got to read that. So anyway, oh, I do have some other news. Yay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the cover art for my new novel. And I should have space right here to hang it. So, dun, 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 here we go. It's called A Step Too Far. It's a Dryden Universe Corporate Wars novel. And it was a really fun book to write. And the other thing about this lovely cover art by Gavin Rowett is that means that that project is nearly done. I had the final manuscript in my hand last night. I finished my final edits, and it will be going back to the publisher probably Monday morning, which means I expect it will get published in early to mid-January, but maybe as late as February, because you never know what's going to happen in the publishing industry. And I started this publishing process for this book, July? So it takes a while. But anyway, so that's it. It's called A Step Too Far. Real fun science fiction noir story set in the Dryden multiverse. I think everybody will enjoy it. And Gordon R. Dickson's Love Not Human, nice little science fiction collection. Not a full novel, it has its limitations that we talked about a little bit, but worth picking up and reading, particularly the last story, The Monster and the Maiden. And that's all the time I have for today, but I wanted to stop for a second and wish everybody a happy holiday for the 2016 season.